Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to part 3 of my review of the YouTube Formula by Daryl Eves, or Ives, again, for the third time. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sorry, Daryl. Anyway, for part 3, we're going to look at the chapters in part 3. This is a 3-part book. This will be the last review unless I do a total review, a summary review. We'll go over what the chapters are, and I'll give you if I can recall, a brief blurb on what they're about. Quickly, a lot of this book is example stories, and it may seem like it's filler, but it's not. You need those example stories because the level of success that can be had on YouTube. Oh, you might know about some of the big creators, but there's chances are you don't know about creators that you don't follow, unless you're like Daryl, the author of the book, and you do a lot of research on YouTube. I certainly don't. I don't watch much on YouTube. I tend to watch, or listen to things like music. My father watches some of those compilation videos. But in trying to learn about YouTube and get our channel started and successful and not just mill around in circles wasting our time, this is a great book. Once again, it's the YouTube Formula by Daryl Eves. And one of these days I'll tell you who recommended it to me, but I don't want to get into that right now. So, part 3, again, part 3 has plenty of example stories. It's also the largest section. In fact, it is about 2/3 of the book, folks. This is a big one. There's 4 chapters in the first section, 5 chapters in the second section, and 11 chapters in section 3, part 3. Part 3 is the YouTube Formula. Just a quick review. Part 1 is the platform, part 2 is the opportunity, and part 3 is the YouTube Formula. And so let's go through the chapters. Chapter 10, because the chapters are numbered 1 through 21, not 1 through whatever per section, per part of the book. So chapter 10 starts out this part of the book with the data-driven, human-centered formula. This is a You know what, let me give you the names of the chapters really quick, and then we'll go back over them. Chapter 11, Identify Your Audience. Chapter 12, Recon and Research. Chapter 13, Content is King. Chapter 14 was Content Feedback is Queen. Chapter 15, Title and Thumbnail. Success starts with a click. Chapter 16, Engaging Viewers' Attention so they watch more. Chapter 17, Creating a YouTube Content Strategy. That was a good chapter. They're all good chapters, but that was a really good chapter. Chapter 18, Building a Community Around Your Content. Chapter 19, Optimizing, Launching, and Promoting Your Video. Chapter 20, Tweaking Your Content. And Chapter 21, which brings the whole book in sort of a loop back to the beginning concept: try, fail, analyze, adjust your YouTube success. And the reason I say it comes about in a full loop is because the very beginning of the book starts with the story of how YouTube as a website was developed, and it starts with the concept of that is the name of that chapter: try, fail, analyze, and adjust. Because that's exactly what happened with the creators of YouTube, the website. They tried one thing, they kept trying it, it didn't work, so they failed. They analyzed what didn't work, and they adjusted their path, and they become a great success. Now, they've certainly had to go through that loop over and over again, but that is the basic formula. Well, it's the formula for success in just about everything. You try it, you fail, you analyze it, figure out what didn't work, you make your adjustments, and you try again. Sometimes you find success, and sometimes you have to fail, analyze, and adjust some more. All right, let's go through the chapters. Chapter 10, the data-driven, human-centered formula. As Daryl is going to hammer on us in this chapter, it's easy for us to get caught up in the idea that it's a formula and that there's a system that we can, if we can just figure out how it works, we could play to the system for success. And YouTube as a company / platform has worked apparently quite extensively, according to Daryl and according to what he shows you in the book. They have worked very thoroughly to make sure that the system caters to the viewers. So if you want the viewers to watch your content, you've got to do what the system wants you to do. Because what the system wants is for your content, not only your content to be good, but to be presented as optimally as necessary to connect with the right viewers. And if you're not doing those things, then the system's going to filter out your content. As Daryl puts it, sometimes your baby's ugly. Not literally for you moms, but sometimes we have to admit that our content, your content is more than just your video. Sometimes it includes the thumbnail, the title, other factors. It's not just the video we shoot, which is a lesson I'm probably still in the process of learning. So yeah, chapter 10 is all about, the formula is centered on the humans. It's not centered on, Daryl's going to give you some great examples of how he learned that the hard way, not only with YouTube, but with other systems that work similarly. So don't try to cheat the system, give them what they want. Chapter 11, identify your audience. Kind of hard to give your viewers what you want if you don't know who they are. You may think that you have viewers that fit a particular description, maybe an age group or an income group or an interest group, and you might be wrong. You might be very surprised by who those are. I don't have enough viewers yet to know who my viewers are, so maybe I'll get to know you in the future. Chapter 12, recon and research. If I remember correctly, recon and research is about studying other channels that are similar to the kind of content you want to produce, understanding what works for them, and not necessarily copying them, but learning lessons from them. Chapter 13, content is king. I think that one's self-explanatory. Every business pretty much lives and dies by that. If you do a bad job of delivering your message, people aren't going to know that you have a product that they want. So they can't very well connect with it. Chapter 14, feedback is queen. We've all seen the products and businesses that fail to listen to their feedback, and as a consequence, were unable to connect with their potential customer base, or in this case, audience. Chapter 15, title and thumbnail. Success starts with a click. This is where I'm at right now. I have not developed good thumbnails and titles for my content yet. Gonna work on that. Finally have some new content to put out. But title and thumbnail, if you don't put on a good thumbnail so that people can tell what they're clicking on, or if the title points in a different direction. Now, YouTube also analyzes the content of your video. So it tries to second guess what's actually in your video, but if it can't tell what's in your video, or if your title and thumbnail point in a different direction, like let's say your content points one direction, and so your content starts showing up for people looking for that particular kind of content, but your thumbnail points in a different direction. Maybe you did it on accident. Maybe you did it because you were trying to get the attention of what you thought would be a bigger audience, and then you were going to show them what you made. If you don't give people truth in advertising, title and thumbnail, if what it says on the can isn't what's in the can, YouTube's going to figure out that there's something wrong, and they're going to stop showing it to people because people don't want to sit there and watch that. Chapter 16, engaging viewers' attention so they watch more. I'm trying to remember what this chapter is about, other than what the title says. I know it's not about using simple gimmicks, because none of the book is about that. I'm going to have to go back and read that chapter, but the title is self-explanatory. I remember. I believe this is the chapter that covers concepts like playlists, or connecting your miscellaneous content together so that viewers looking for your kind of content on one video will be connected to another video that's going to give them more of the same kind of content. YouTube likes that. And if what you're providing your customers or your viewers is something beneficial, then hey, you're doing a good thing. Please don't be predatory. Nobody needs to get stuck in a rabbit hole. I'm sorry, that's just my personal opinion. Ignore me. Chapter 17, creating a YouTube content strategy. This was a very good chapter. I've been looking at that. I'm going to have to go back and reread the chapter. Formulating a strategy for your content. I think this is where he talks about the concept of what he calls buckets, or what probably you will think of more generally as categories of content. It's all in the same, probably nothing. You want to keep all of the content on your channel related. If you have content that's drastically different, my guess would be you probably need a separate kind of channel. He gives an example of one of the top YouTubers at this time who's done exactly that. He has certain kind of content that he produces, and he wanted to produce a different kind of content, but with research he discovered that the viewers of his main kind of content, don't let the word content trip you up, I'm going to say it a lot, the viewers of his main channel would not be the same ideal audience for this other topic and channel type. Different topic, different audience, different channel, so he kept them separate. However, within one channel, you might have several different subcategories of content. Whew, I need to wrap up. All right, so yeah, chapter 17, creating a YouTube content strategy. That's one of the things he goes over is identifying your subcategories and strengthening your viewership around recognizable things. Also, expanding your viewership around related things. Like maybe you're producing content on a particular subject, and he gives a good example of someone who maxed out, he was producing content related to law, and he'd pretty much reached the saturation point. He wasn't going to be able to attract more viewers on that subject, so Daryl had the author of the book had worked with him to figure out how he could expand his channel to help more people, having already reached the saturation limit for what he was currently doing without departing from his main topic and objective. All right, chapter 18, building a community around your content. That is such a great chapter. You're going to have to read it for yourself, because community, you don't realize how important it is and how essential it is to building a channel. And not just building a channel for the sake of making money or getting viewers. Although, if your objective is to build an audience to get an important message out, that absolutely makes sense. But that's just it. You need to build a community. You want a community that supports you. You want a community that, I mean, your naysayers are important too. He talks about that. But building community around your content is extremely vital, and it's something that I kind of understood, but I'm still grappling with the idea. Maybe some of you are better at this idea. Chapter 19, optimizing, launching, and promoting your video. Daryl dives into, not trying to make a tongue twister there, Daryl dives into doing the prep work for your video. Making sure that all of the things you need to have in your video are, all the things are prepared for your video, and how to promote content. I believe this is where he covers, what's the word for it? Not cross-posting, sorry. Actually, I think he does cover that too. But where he covers collaboration with other producers. Now, I'm not to the point that anybody's going to want to collaborate with me yet. That's a ways off. But maybe you'll get a good start, or maybe you've already got a successful channel and you've never done that, and that could be something major for you. Chapter 20, tweaking your content. I believe that's a prelude to the concept of analyze and adjust. I don't remember exactly what he covered, because by that point I was reaching the end of the book and I knew it, and I may have rushed a little bit. And then chapter 21, the end cap that reconnects the whole thing: try, fail, analyze, and adjust your YouTube success, which is pretty much just a summary to bring it all together and help you see the whole picture. There's so much to success on YouTube, it's easy to get lost in this book. As the individual who recommended this book to me explained, this thing is practically a Bible for YouTube success. At some point, I expect I'm going to realize that I have either dog-eared, I'm sorry, my book fanatics, or at least page markered some things, because there's so much here. So that covers that covers part 3 of the book. We've now covered all 3 parts of the book. Again, really brief. Part 1 was the platform, part 2 the opportunity, and part 3 the YouTube formula. There is an acknowledgement at the end of the book that's really good and worth reading. Again, I highly recommend the book whether you already have a channel. If you already have a channel and some audience and you're wanting to grow and expand, Daryl is going to give you what you want, what you need. If you don't, and you're starting out like me, this is going to feel like a lot, but get it and read it now. Get it in your head. Start inputting this information into your mind, so that as you reach those points, those first 100 followers, you can go back and you'll already have an inkling of what you need to do, and you'll be able to build that information up instead of having to digest it anew. All right, thanks for following along. If you enjoyed this or would like me to would like me to cover another book, well, I'm going to show you the books that I've read that I recommend. If you want to recommend a book to me, by all means, I might read it. If there's some other kind of content you'd like to discuss, again, my objective with most of my content is to help you, the viewer. If you're like me and you work a regular job and you live pretty much paycheck to paycheck and you'd like to get out of that, that's what this is all about. I want to help you build up your life so that you're no longer dependent on a system that doesn't care about you and would gladly replace you, despite what they tell you in the crummy... Sorry, my company has an employees appreciation day, and it's kind of funny. I'm gonna try not to bring that into it, but anyway, yeah, my whole objective is, as I'm getting out of this, I want to help others who are behind me. I've worked with plenty of folks that were just at their, maybe not their wits' end, but they don't see their way out, and I hear from plenty more online, not knowing how to get their way out. So YouTube is one of those ways. If you've got a message or that you want to share, or content that you think will benefit folks, or just something that they'll enjoy, this is one way to make money. And even if you don't want to make money at it, you just want to spread a message, that's fine too. So if you want to hear more from me, hit the like button and subscribe, and please leave a comment. Tell me what you did or didn't like. I know I'm not that great at this yet. I'm working on it, but we all got to start somewhere. All right, till next time, be safe, be wise.